Wonderful experience there with nature and the cows. 2 young ones just been born, very young. Brown one in the corner, but there's two black ones near the black cow. And yeah, they're still in the ditch, but looks like they've been born in the night. Yeah, nature. Wonderful, isn't it? I've just had a walk through that garden down there. Mr. Moyes, the ex-Manchester United manager, and a wonderful, well, I don't know him well personally, but I have an odd word with him, like good morning and such as that. And he always used to stop and talk to my dad when my dad was in a wheelchair, because he used to take my dad through there. A very, very nice guy, you know what I mean? You know, that's the impression you get of him. He's got time for everybody. Very driven, beautiful house, beautiful gardens. I know people who've known him, who've played football with him. He's always been very driven, you know, knowing where to go. I mean, someone said the other day his integrity's been destroyed by Manchester United by sacking him the way they did do. And in one sense, I think he's a far stronger man than that myself, personality-wise. But it has, or there's been an attempt at it, hasn't there? By what? By player power, as they used to say. By younger players getting together, by top players, the highest paid, the ones with influence, refusing to play for him, refusing to give 100% because he changed things. Well, let me give you my impression of what I've seen, and I base it on, you know, like I say, you're not behind the scenes. I just know Mr. Moyes, he's always been with us, and I have a lot of respect for him. But a picture on Facebook yesterday, you know, because you get lots of banter off football fans and such, and it was the Manchester United fans, and it was a picture of Ryan Giggs, Phil Neville, Paul Scholes, forget the other one, but the caption was, "The boys are back." The boys meaning the boys that were part of the great United team of the last 10 years. And probably the boys with too much influence. But what the point is I'm trying to make is not just the boys with too much influence, but the boys who have not taken kindly to losing their father figure in the sense of Alex Ferguson. And you can't really blame the boys for that. You can't blame Mr. Moyes or the boys, as we say. But you can't. But that type of control over the club, I once remember Giggs saying, I mean, these are young footballers who have been at United since they were boys. I mean, 6, 7 years old. That's all they know. In the case of Giggs, he probably is a father figure. He was a father figure. Giggs has openly stated that when he retires, he will still be at the club every day, the same routine. It's difficult to change routine when you've spent your life in a routine, and at the same time you enjoy the routine so much as it's made him feel like he's part of a family. But that makes it difficult for anyone to step in to the role that Mr. Moyes stepped into. That makes it difficult for anyone to step in that role. That would include your likes of Jose Mourinho or the guy they're talking about from Holland. You know? Because it's not just player power there with money involved. You're stepping into a family. That's like becoming a stepfather, which I have experience of, you know, a stepfather to 3 children, in my case it was, where I found it very difficult, and they found it very difficult to accept me, you know, and it is a very difficult role to play, just, you know, behind the 4 walls of a family home. But in the situation of Manchester United, my opinion is, with the money involved, and with the success that has to be involved, that unless the likes of Giggs are given the role to take over, which is very unlikely, he doesn't have the experience, but at the same time he could learn off others. So if you put an Jose Mourinho in there, or a Guardiola, whatever his name is, in there, then Giggs could learn off him. But the fact is Giggs, or would Giggs be prepared to do that? Would the other players be prepared to do that? They have a set mindset, a set routine. which has been a routine. I think Ferguson was there 30 years. Incredible length of time. You know, you can't just expect someone to drop the father figure and take on somebody else's, if you understand where I'm coming from. I watch the future of that club with great interest, and not because of anything to do with Manchester United, and don't personally, I don't dislike anybody or any football team, but I'm going to watch with great interest as to the outcome of this situation through Mr. Moyes being, like I say, as some say, his integrity being destroyed, and now the transition of another leading role model in that family of Manchester United. It would be really interesting to see, especially in today's world where young people are, without doubt, moving on quicker educationally and power-wise than others. It's going to be wonderful to watch. Take a look. There's going to be many people trip up and take nasty falls in the next 3 or 4 years around that club, I can assure you. It's funny really, but I believe that football-wise, and the strict control they have over these young kids in some of these clubs, I think in years to come that could go down as one of the next cases of abuse, not necessarily sexual abuse, but controlled abuse. You know, it's similar to the kind of control gained in public schooling. If you have children from such a young age and bang them to rights, you control their mind, their soul, everything they do. You know, you're in, you know, which is not a fair way to bring a child up. I have experience at Manchester United through my own son, who's spent, I don't know, he probably was at United's training ground while about 7 years old on 4 or 5 occasions. And at other various events where Manchester United scouts watched and looked over players, but it is a very controlling. You're not allowed to step out of line even at 7. So in my mind, you're taking away genius. I mean, I remember one occasion, in fact I have it on video and it's quite funny really, but in one of his purple patches, I think he scored 3 goals in about 5 minutes in an indoor centre. With 4 games going on at the same time. And after he scored the 4th goal, I think he led down and put his head on his elbow, and like, it was the Cantona, wasn't it? Cantona did it, didn't he? Cantona did it on TV, and children are influenced by TV and by their heroes. And he led down and did that after scoring the goal, and it was pulled straight off, you know. It wasn't accepted. You know, he was substituted that very minute. It was done light-heartedly for a 7-year-old, but what I'm saying is, from that moment on, the control's in there. They want control of you. And as I said, with Giggs and the rest of that age group that were part of that wonderful team, they've been controlled by Ferguson and by his team of everything from psychologists, psychiatrists these days in football. And it must surely, in one way, as much as they end up very wealthy and financially secure and better off, in one sense, it can't be right, because you're controlling someone's soul. It happens all over the world, from Barcelona to Amsterdam, you know, to Bayern Munich to Ajax of Amsterdam. It's just an interesting subject, though, on what I was saying before about control and how people are controlled through not the superiors, but the people who have, you know, they have the old butty on them, don't they? They can make them or break them, if you know what I'm saying. And if someone can make or break you, then he can control you, if you're afraid to stand up against it and, well, basically use your own opinions. But that certainly doesn't happen with 7 or 8 year old children, does it?